Hey guys, it's Tower Defense Phil here once again, and given that the league was revolved around tower defending and a NPC that was a nun, I kinda had to get a bit creative with my outfit for the start of the league. Sorry, hey guys, it's Nun Phil here once again, and since Tower Defense League, yeah, had to get a bit creative as you can see. And I assure you, I don't love doing this. This is just for the fans. I just want to entertain. That's right. That's why we do it. I started out with Poison Assassin and went Cobra Lash right from level 1, and it's pretty good skill to level up with. As you can see, right at the beginning, it's actually quite fun. It's got some chains, it has some pretty potent damage, and you can already start to feel your poison damage. So scaling poison right from the get-go with the Shadow Ascendancy, the Assassin Ascendancy, is actually pretty viable. Once you get Volley or LMP, you start to shoot 3 projectiles, and your leveling is in cruise control mode from then onwards. You pick up some poison passives, you go for some ascendancies, and your poison just keeps on scaling. It's not quite as beefy as some of the other really good leveling specs, but it does still hold its own off crap gear with its own chaos damage scaling. Now, the actual league mechanic, the Blight tower defense thing, we were all kind of skeptical. Tower defense in PoE, and who knows, maybe it was going to be fun, maybe it was going to be kind of meh. But I do really recommend you guys try out the league and the game if you have yet to try it out, because the actual tower defense mechanic and playing around with it after you get a little bit used to it is really quite a lot of fun, and you do look forward to these encounters. They're pretty challenging, they can be a little bit rewarding, and I was failing plenty of these trying to figure out what towers were good, what monsters I'm supposed to be killing or how I'm supposed to be killing them, and especially figuring out my build as well. You can see that one right there. I failed this one, I think. I probably failed a good 10 of these encounters, but I was looking forward to trying them every single time because they really are quite a lot of fun and a slightly different addition to the Path of Exile universe. By the time you get to maps, they do get a little bit more challenging, and it really is kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes they're not too bad, and sometimes you just get swarmed by monsters, and it's kind of rough to deal with. But that may also be the fact that we have completely nothing on our characters. We have really crap gear, really crap everything. So it's kind of gonna feel a lot like a challenge, but maybe in the next couple of characters by the end of the league, these things will be a complete breeze and just a bunch of extra loot and XP and a fun little encounter. I do still recommend trying it for sure though. You'll probably fall in love with it like a lot of us have, at least on day 1, and we'll have to wait and see if it gets any better or worse as time goes on. Now, the character itself, the Poison Assassin, off of no gear, it's still ramping okay. It's not the greatest build in the world yet. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm doing Cobra Lash or Venom Gyre, and I am swapping between the two routinely, so if you see me using one, it's because I'm just trying that one out for a level or 2. See me using the other, it's because I'm trying that one out. I'm really struggling to decide if one's better than the other or if one's more fun than the other. They're both pretty similar in what they achieve and how much fun they provide. And I'm still trying to figure out how to scale them properly, how to use them, and if one truly is better than the other. But I want to go over what the character looks like so far. Now here's my character so far, level 76 assassin called Deeply Confused. You can notice he's got kind of a green glow to him, and that's because of the Plague Bearer skill. So that's the one that when you shoot out a bunch of poison damage, it stacks poison damage, and then you can kind of unleash it as a righteous fire. So if you got that active, you got this green cool looking glow to you, and you can swap in and out of the stack and the release phase. I can't show you that just yet. So I am building entirely around the poison archetype. I am using lots of Cobra Lash, lots of Venom Gyre, and then you got all these other skills for assistance too. Before I jump right into that, I want to mention the other starter builds real quick. I haven't heard too much about all of them, but Divine Ire Totems apparently is fucking shit up, and I have watched a little bit of that from some other people as well. And yeah, placing your Divine Ire Totems, lasers just clean up your tower defense shit, and it is very strong. Otherwise, a lot of us are having decent enough success with the poison stuff. So I think overall it should be pretty good to pick just about any of the starters as far as I can tell for the League mechanic from memory, Stormbrand, and the Blade Flurry Gladiator. They should be solid as well, but I haven't heard too much about those just yet. So the character built around Cobralash. Currently I'm using greater multiple projectiles, void manipulation, deadly ailments, and added chaos. Probably going to remove void manip for unbound ailments, and I've only just started to commit to daggers because I got a couple of little crappy daggers that I've made, and I'm just committed to it. But you try and keep a pretty loose profile while leveling, and don't pick up any of these weapon nodes here, none of those. All these dagger things, and other than that, you're just going around and grabbing all of the generic shit that gives you poison damage, damage with dual wielding, that sort of stuff, and then you commit to a spec when you're ready for it. You don't have to pick claws, you don't have to pick daggers. I think it really is going to be pretty similar in the end, and it's going to depend on what type of weapons you can get. If you can get some wasp nests, some binos, craft your own. It shouldn't really matter too much in the end, as far as I can tell. You just pick one that you like more and go with it. And currently I've gone with the daggers, and it's working out okay, but we definitely need quite a bit more damage, as you'll see in just a minute when I show you the Blighted tower defense map itself, which is completely insane. So that's my 5-link for now. Without the 5-link, I wasn't running added chaos. That was my 4-link. And for Venom Jaya, my 4-link throughout leveling was greater multiple projectiles, deadly ailments, and then I was using fork a lot of the time as my 4th link, because when the projectiles fork, it does seem to work out pretty well, but it's kind of hard to tell what's best yet. Pierce is still pretty good, chain works well, and currently the 5th link is still added chaos. So what Venom Jaya looks like is all of these projectiles, and then they come back to you, you stack them up as you can see here, and then when you twirl, you do unleash all of those. It seems pretty hard to hit many things with the twirl. It's gonna be kind of dependent on if the target is big enough, has a big enough hitbox, I think, because otherwise I find it kind of hard to see a big impact off of that. And the main playstyle ends up being carried around Plague Bearer at the moment. So you press your Plague Bearer, you run out there, and as soon as you start stacking up lots of poison, you can see that stack in the top left-hand corner. You can then press Plague Bearer again. We've got our max stacks, and that unleashes the Righteous Fire around you, and it's a huge amount of burst. So you press it here, and it will kill everything around you quite effectively. And a lot of the time, you may want to press it or deactivate it before it runs down to 0, and then keep killing things, because you won't need its assistance always, and then press it when you actually need it again to burn down rare enemies and stuff like that. So it does seem to be a very large assistance in our build at the moment. Make sure you're using Plague Bearer quite profusely. I've got it attached to increased area at the moment. And aside from that, we've also got Withering Step, which currently for us, what it does is pop elusive up to 150%, and then also withers things within that radius. So it is pretty nice, and I do recommend trying to press it pretty much on cooldown, or at the very least during tougher encounters where you want to wither things. And then with the actual Mistwalker buff here, it grants you elusive as often as it can, only when your elusive is fully down. Once your elusive starts to go down, as you can see here, you can reset it by pressing Mistwalker. That puts you back up to 150. Then once you hit anything, you'll reset your elusive once again. So I've been pressing, or trying to press Withering Step basically on cooldown, so I can keep up a good chunk of elusive, and then also do extra damage, extra movement speed, that sort of thing. So I would recommend trying to press your buttons and weaving in some rotations, and maybe you'll figure out how the playstyle best suits you. It is a little bit confusing though. My first 2 points for the Ascendancy were Noxious Strike. I then went into Mistwalker and then Toxic Delivery, and the last 2 I will be grabbing as probably opportunistic, but we'll have to wait and see as I reevaluate. And besides that, there's not too much else to mention. I've been using Herald of Agony and Precision, haven't really fine-tuned the character too much yet. Like I said, you can check out the previous Viper Strike Pathfinder in the starter build description for more of a finalized gear set. Right now, we're pretty weak, and it's effective enough for the time being. Just generic little life resist type of gear, and slowly yet surely we'll beef up into godhood, I hope. Both the skills seem to have some good potential for clear endgame scaling. A lot of our damage might end up coming from Plague Bearer, we'll have to wait and see. But I want to leave you guys with the Blighted map. So this is a specific map you pick up that will say Blighted on it, and it's only got Blight encounters in it. It's not a traditional map. I was mapping along and I did most of my Blight encounters. I failed a couple, but most of them pretty clean, and nothing really prepared me for what this map had in store for me. So it's a completely different experience altogether. Check it out if you want to. Otherwise, if you don't want to see any spoilers, check it out by yourself later. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're having a lovely first day in Blight League, and see you next time. Another tower here looks good. So far seems alright. Don't like how the portals are right next to this thing, but they are still going to travel like all the way around. Blighted Archmage, alright. Well, these two towers are holding pretty fucking strong at the moment. Oh man. Okay. Seems like, yeah, you might want to just build up a few good towers and make sure you get empowered around those towers too. Oh my god. Holy shit. Holy shit. There's no way. I ain't doing shit against this. Haven't lost any durability yet, but I think we're about to. It's almost fucking dead. I was not ready for this, dude. There was no way I was ready for this. Who's this guy? He's a fucking animal! My god, give me some help, please. Okay. Who's this guy? Groth, Sporebearer, Corrupt. What the fuck? Spore Plume? Pump destroyed. Okay, I mean we still get some level of loot. But yeah, I'm just nowhere near good enough for this right now. Like, my character needs so many fucking upgrades and good passives and... actual damage? What I learned that I need actual upgrades. Because, like, right now if I go to the shop and buy like 10C worth of gear, I can get like 100 more crit multi or so, right? A few more passives and I'll probably get like 50% more damage. Timer runs out. I mean, I assume you just win and all the loot boxes pop that you possibly could have, but I didn't make it to the end of the timer.